You think you are clearing things up. You think you are helping them understand you. You think if you just find the right words, they will finally see your side. But sometimes the more you explain, the weaker your position becomes. Because people who respect you do not need a 10-minute speech every time you make a decision. And people who have already decided to misunderstand you do not care how good your explanation is. They want to see what happens when they question you. But today, that changes. Because once you understand why you feel the need to explain yourself, you can stop giving other people control over your confidence. Comment: silence is power. Number 1. Stop defending every choice. Every time you rush to defend a choice that belongs to you, you quietly place another person above your own judgment. And this happens in ways that look harmless at first. You tell someone you are unavailable, and they demand to know why. You distance yourself from a friendship that drains you, and suddenly you're called selfish. You refuse to lend money, and they question your loyalty. You leave a relationship where respect disappears, and people tell you that you should have tried harder. Or you choose to spend your evening working on your future, instead of entertaining people who only remember you when they need something. And before you realize what is happening, you are standing there explaining your life like you need permission to live it. Men get trapped here because you want to be fair. You want people to understand your intentions, and you do not want to look cruel. But some people use that decency against you because they learn that guilt opens the door when respect does not. The hard truth is that certain people are not asking for an explanation because they want clarity. They are asking because they want another chance to negotiate your boundary. You say you're busy, they question what you're doing. You say you need space, they demand a reason. You say you're done accepting disrespect. They suddenly list everything they have ever done for you, and now you are defending yourself instead of noticing the real problem. They believe your decision only becomes valid when they approve it. End that habit. Control what belongs to you. Your choices, your conduct, your time, your standards, and your response. Release what does not belong to you. Their anger, their gossip, their disappointment, and the story they tell after you leave. This is where your life starts changing. Because you discover that another person's discomfort is not an emergency. Let them call you different. You are different. You no longer sacrifice your peace so everyone around you stays comfortable. Let them say, success changed you, when discipline simply exposed how little you have in common with them. Let them complain that you are harder to reach, when the truth is that your time finally has direction. You do not become heartless. You become responsible for your own life. Speak clearly once, make your decision, and then live with the consequences without begging anyone to approve. Because a man who trusts his judgment will still listen, still learn, still admit when he is wrong. But he will never hand another person the authority to decide whether his boundaries deserve to exist. And if this lesson is already changing the way you see your choices, boundaries, and self-respect, imagine having the Stoic relationship blueprint course for men beside you, step by step, built from more than 2,000 years of time-tested wisdom to help you stop living for approval, handle relationships with clarity, protect your peace, build unshakable self-respect, and avoid years of painful mistakes. And right now, you get lifetime access to this transformational knowledge for more than 30% off. But this limited time offer ends very soon. This is the course I believe every man serious about changing his life should have. Because instead of guessing what to do when emotions, relationships, boundaries, and difficult people test you, you get a clear blueprint you return to for life. So if you're already getting this much value from one video, think about what happens when you have the complete system. Do not let an opportunity this valuable pass, and then wish you had taken it. Check out the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course through the link in the description while the discount is still available. Number 2. Let them think wrong. One of the hardest lessons you learn is that some people will misunderstand you because misunderstanding you serves them better than understanding you, and this becomes painful when the person judging you is someone you once trusted, because you sit alone thinking of the perfect sentence that will finally make them understand your side. You rewrite messages before sending them, replay conversations while trying to find the exact moment everything changed, and imagine what you will say if you ever get one clean opportunity to explain yourself. But listen carefully. When someone has already chosen the version of you that protects their ego, another paragraph will not rescue your reputation. A person who benefits from making you the villain has no reason to investigate their own behavior. The friend who repeatedly disrespects your time will call you arrogant when you become unavailable. The relative who expects endless favors will call you selfish when you finally say no. The woman who crosses your boundaries will call you insecure when you refuse to accept behavior that destroys your peace. The coworker who takes advantage of your silence will suddenly call you difficult when you speak with authority. Notice the pattern. Your boundary becomes the problem because discussing their behavior requires accountability, and accountability is exactly what they are avoiding. This is where you must become disciplined with your attention. Do not spend 3 hours trying to correct a person who spends 30 seconds deciding you are wrong. Ask yourself, is there truth in what they are saying? If there is, fix your behavior without making excuses. If there is not, continue walking. That simple rule will save you years of pointless arguments. You are responsible for being honest, not for forcing honesty into another person's mind. You are responsible for your character, not for managing every opinion attached to your name. Some men destroy their peace, trying to clear their name with people who enjoy seeing them explain themselves, and every new explanation gives those people another opportunity to pull them back into the same emotional cycle. Refuse it. Let consistency become your answer. Let your work speak. Let your discipline speak. Let the way you treat people speak. Let the life you build over the next 5 years say more than the argument you desperately want to win tonight. There is freedom in accepting that someone somewhere will think badly of you no matter how carefully you live, because once you accept that price, you stop performing for an audience that never intended to applaud you, and you start building a life based on principles instead of approval. That is when their opinion loses its grip. Your mind becomes quieter, your decisions become cleaner, and you finally understand that being misunderstood by people who refuse to examine themselves is sometimes evidence that your boundary is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Number 3. Make your no final. The moment you say no and immediately start explaining why, you turn a decision into a debate. And men do this every day without noticing how much authority they give away in the process. Your friend asks for money again after never paying back the last amount. Your family expects you to cancel your plans because they assume your time belongs to them. Your boss pushes another responsibility onto you because you always accept more without speaking up. Someone calls late at night expecting you to solve another problem they created, or a woman crosses a line you clearly set and then asks why you are suddenly acting differently. And your first instinct is to soften everything because you do not want tension. So you say, "I'm sorry, it's just that..." And then comes the explanation, followed by another explanation when they challenge the first one, until your simple no becomes a courtroom where the other person acts like the judge, and you act like a man asking to be found innocent. Understand what is happening here. People quickly learn which boundaries are real and which boundaries collapse under pressure. If they push once and you change your answer, they learn to push twice next time. If guilt works on you today, guilt becomes their tool tomorrow. If silence makes you uncomfortable enough to surrender your position, they will use silence. If anger makes you explain yourself, anger becomes useful to them. This is why your no has to become final, not because you need to become rude, cold, or impossible to deal with, but because your word has to mean something, especially to you. You tell someone, "That doesn't work for me," and when they ask why, you give a short answer if one is appropriate. Then you leave it there. You don't produce evidence, prepare a defense, or spend the rest of the night wondering whether they think you're a bad person. Their reaction belongs to them. Your conduct belongs to you. Separate those two things, and your life changes. This principle reaches far beyond relationships. Every serious goal requires you to disappoint someone. The hour you spend building your body disappoints the person who wants you drinking with them. The money you save disappoints the person who expects you to spend just to impress them. The evening you protect for your work disappoints the friend who expects unlimited access. The standard you enforce disappoints the person who benefits from you having none. That is the price of direction. You will either disappoint other people sometimes, or disappoint yourself repeatedly, and a man who spends his life avoiding the first usually ends up living with the second. Look at where your own weak no has taken you. How many times do you agree while your mind is screaming that you do not want to? How many favors do you perform out of guilt? How many disrespectful conversations continue because you explain the boundary instead of enforcing it? How many people have learned that your first no actually means pressure me until I surrender? Change that now. Start small. When you do not want something, answer clearly. When someone presses you, do not increase the length of your explanation, reduce it. I've made my decision. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available. I'm not discussing this again. Then accept the uncomfortable silence that follows. That silence trains you. It teaches you that discomfort does not require action. Another person's frustration does not require rescue. And guilt does not automatically mean you are doing something wrong. You control your character, not their response. You choose your principles, then you accept the cost of living by them. This is where self-respect becomes practical instead of motivational talk, because every boundary carries a price, and when you willingly pay that price, people finally understand that access to you has conditions. Some will leave when they discover you are no longer easy to use. Let them. Some will accuse you of changing. Agree with them, because remaining the version of yourself that everybody controls is not loyalty. It is self-betrayal. The right people adjust, the selfish ones complain, and the manipulative ones expose themselves. That works in your favor because now you see clearly who respects you and who only respects what they receive from you. Your no becomes a filter. Your standards become protection. Your time starts returning to you. Your energy starts going toward your health, your money, your purpose, your family, your craft, and the future you keep saying you want. Eventually you understand the deeper lesson. Saying no is not mainly about controlling what others do. It is about proving to yourself that your own word has weight. Because once you trust yourself to protect your decisions, you stop needing long explanations to make those decisions look acceptable. And if you're ready to make that self-respect permanent, The Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men puts timeless principles in your hands that teach you how to master your reactions, protect your boundaries, handle difficult relationships, and make stronger decisions without constantly questioning yourself. It is now available as an audiobook, so while you are walking, jogging, driving, training, or simply sitting alone, you will listen to life-changing lessons that turn those ordinary moments into opportunities to rebuild the way you think, respond, and lead your life. Once you get it, this knowledge is yours to return to whenever life tests you. So instead of repeating painful lessons for years, give yourself a blueprint you will always have access to, and check out the Stoic Relationship Blueprint audiobook through the link in the comments. Number 4. Stop seeking approval. Approval becomes dangerous when you need it more than you need your own respect, because once another person's opinion decides whether you are confident, they hold a switch inside your mind, and men hand people that switch every day. You send a message and keep checking whether she replies. You share an idea and immediately study everyone's face. You make a career decision and lose sleep because your family questions it. You start improving your body and suddenly worry that friends think you are obsessed. You set a boundary and spend the next 6 hours wondering whether you sounded harsh. You post something and keep returning to the numbers. Or you finally choose yourself after years of being available to everyone and then panic when the same people who benefited from the old version of you complain about the new one. That hunger for approval turns life into a performance. You stop asking, "Is this right for me?" and start asking, "Will they like me if I do this?" You stop asking, "Does this person treat me well?" and start asking, "How do I make them choose me?" You stop asking, "Is this opportunity aligned with the life I want?" and start asking, "Will people think I am successful?" That is how a man slowly loses direction while appearing completely normal from the outside. He buys things he doesn't value, stays around people he doesn't respect, tolerates behavior that eats away at him, laughs at disrespect disguised as jokes, agrees when he wants to refuse, and keeps explaining himself because the possibility of someone thinking badly of him seems unbearable. Then one day he looks at his life and realizes he has built a personality around keeping everybody comfortable except himself. Break that pattern by changing the question. When somebody dislikes your decision, do not immediately ask how to make them understand. Ask whether your decision matches your principles. When someone criticizes you, do not automatically defend yourself. Inspect the criticism. If it is true, use it. If it is false, discard it. This is emotional discipline. You take useful information without surrendering your identity to the person delivering it. A stranger insults you. You do not carry their words for 3 days. A friend questions your ambition. You examine whether the criticism contains truth, then continue working. A woman loses interest because you refuse to abandon your standards. You do not negotiate your dignity for attention. A family member tries to shame you for choosing a different path. You respect their right to disagree without handing them the steering wheel of your life. This is not arrogance. Arrogance refuses correction. Self-command accepts correction without begging for acceptance. Learn that difference because it will save you from becoming either weak or stubborn. You will make mistakes. Admit them quickly. You will hurt someone unintentionally. Apologize clearly. You will make bad decisions. Correct them. But never apologize for having standards simply because someone benefits when you abandon them. Never explain a reasonable boundary 10 different ways because someone dislikes the answer. Never turn yourself into a salesman trying to convince another person that you deserve basic respect. Look closely at the people whose approval you chase hardest, and ask yourself what their approval actually costs you. Does it cost your time, your money, your peace, your values, your future? Does keeping one person happy require you to become smaller every year? That is not acceptance. That's a transaction where you keep paying and they keep raising the price. End it. Build an internal scorecard instead. At the end of the day, ask, did I keep my word? Did I work when I wanted to quit? Did I treat people fairly? Did I protect what matters? Did I act from principle instead of fear? Did I move one step closer to the life I claim I want? Those questions put your attention back where it belongs. Then something powerful starts happening. Compliments become pleasant instead of necessary. Criticism becomes information instead of a sentence. Silence from another person stops controlling your day, and disagreement stops looking like danger. You begin choosing relationships because they are healthy, not because being alone scares you. You choose work because it builds your future, not because the title impresses strangers. You take care of your body because discipline matters, not because you need everyone looking at you. You speak less because you no longer need to prove every point. This is where a man becomes difficult to manipulate, because praise no longer buys him, and disapproval no longer controls him. People will still judge you. Let them. People will still misunderstand you. Let them. People will still walk away when your boundaries remove benefits they once enjoyed. Let them go. Your task is not to collect approval from every person you meet. Your task is to build a life you respect when nobody is watching, because the day you stop asking the world for permission to value yourself is the day you finally start living from strength instead of performing for applause. Number 5. Let actions speak. There comes a point where explaining yourself becomes an insult to your own progress, because you keep giving speeches to people who have already decided what they want to believe about you, while your real answer sits inside what you do every single day. A man tells everyone he's changing, yet keeps returning to the same habits. He says he respects himself, yet keeps accepting disrespect. He says he is focused, yet drops everything when someone demands his attention. He says he is done explaining himself, yet one accusation sends him into paragraphs trying to clear his name. That contradiction destroys your confidence, because deep inside, you know your words are carrying weight, your actions refuse to carry. Reverse it, speak less, and make your behavior undeniable. If someone says you will never succeed, do not waste an evening proving your ambition to them. Work. If someone questions why you are less available, do not apologize for protecting your time. Use that time to build something worth protecting. If someone crosses your boundary after you clearly state it, do not deliver another speech. Change their access to you. This is where men discover a hard truth. Some people only pretend not to understand your boundary because ignoring it benefits them. They understand perfectly when consequences arrive. Your job is not to control their opinion. Your job is to control your conduct. Ask yourself what belongs to you right now. Your response, your discipline, your standards, your next decision. Everything else belongs outside your control. Let people gossip while you improve. Let them misunderstand while you build. Let them call you distant when they lose the access they abused. You do not need revenge, a dramatic exit, or one final explanation. You need consistency. Give your health the hours you waste arguing. Give your future the attention you waste defending yourself. Give your purpose the energy you waste trying to make disrespectful people understand your value. Months from now, your life will answer questions your mouth never needs to answer, and the greatest change is not that everyone finally understands you. It is that you no longer need them to. The life you want will not be built by collecting advice and returning to the same habits. It changes when you finally have a system you will follow, and the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men gives you that step-by-step path, with lifetime access and more than 30% off for a limited time before the offer ends. If you are not ready for the full course, do not walk away empty-handed. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook and audiobook are still available, giving you timeless principles you will return to whenever relationships, emotions, boundaries, or difficult people test you. Whether you are reading at home or listening while walking, driving, training, or working. Do not become the man who finds this knowledge, knows he needs it, closes the video, and spends another year repeating the same painful patterns. Check the description for the course and the comments for the ebook and audiobook. Get the blueprint that fits you and start becoming the man your future demands before this opportunity passes you by.